Good morning.
Good morning. It's Garrett and Tara here for day 3 of our 5-day training, Consciously Created Transformation, Body, Mind, and Soul. Welcome to all of you that are going to join us live here today. And for those of you that are watching the replay later tonight, welcome. It's been a good packed couple of days, and we've gotten into some pretty cool information, and by now you're probably just being exposed to some of maybe some things that you haven't thought of in the past, and so maybe stretching you a bit and things like that. So that's what this is supposed to do. If you're here joining us live, please comment to let us know that you are here, so we can say hi and we can acknowledge that you are here. And tell us where you're from and how things are going. I'm just kind of bringing up some stuff.
And I love seeing everybody doing their homework. I've had some people private message with some notes that they're taking and what their goals are, what their life vision looks like, and what their attitude is. And so, as we said yesterday, that's really designed to get you into the spirit of what we're doing this week and to get you excited about the life that you want to live and the transformations that you want to accomplish. So when you take what we've taught and you apply it by doing the homework and writing it out, you are setting the whole manifestation in process. You're taking a very important step in doing things in a new way, in a different way, that is going to cause you to grow very fast, right? So I know it can be a little bit uncomfortable and a little bit difficult to sit down and write what your dream life looks like and what your goals look like. It can bring up all kinds of emotions, and for some of you, it's the first time that you've ever done an exercise like this. So we recognize it's not easy, and we work with people who are still struggling with that after several weeks. So keep at it.
Definitely
and get excited about it, get into the spirit of it. And today we're going to talk about something super life-changing and incredible that will help make this process a bit easier.
Absolutely. It looks like Ramadan has joined us. Dr. Ray, good to see you. Amy as well is with us.
Hi,
so
Amy.
Good to see you,
Ray.
Amy. Thanks for joining us here this beautiful day. So, I think on that note, babe, acknowledging the fact that, everyone is showing up for this. You've got to give yourself some credit that you've shown up for this. You've been persistent. You've shown your, dedication to yourself. You've proved to yourself that you're worth it, and you're starting along those are all things that you have to kind of cash in on and go, I am taking this seriously, and I am doing my best. So acknowledge that. You may be doing things you've never done before, like you said.
This might be brand new information
totally
too for some of you. We recognize in our coaching calls that some people don't even know what energy is and what frequency is, and so to be hearing that you're actually going to create from a higher plane, the spiritual plane, and that there are 3 planes to consider when you are setting your goals is we recognize that that's really new to some of you. So we're here to reassure you that this will all make sense. If it's the first time you're hearing about it, it'll make sense with more exposure. And if you follow along with what we're saying each day, we're leading you down a path to help you understand things more fully. Yeah,
so with this, you're maybe out of your comfort zone a little bit, and we'll touch on that today a bit, but you might be out of your comfort zone, but remember, with growth comes change. So you're in an area of growth when you step outside of that comfort zone. And so change is inevitable, right? So congratulate yourselves. Congratulations to everyone that's still here with us.
I really like this lesson because I think this is what brought us to where we are in our life, and what took us from where we were sort of at the beginning of our transformation to where we were now. So I think this is probably one of my favorite and most powerful topics for us to share with you today.
Yeah, faith versus fear, right? And often we talk about the fear to give you an idea of what's going on. So we're going to touch on fear and what that is, and then we're going to get into faith and how you can build faith in your life and how that all applies to what we, specifically are thinking about here, which is your health, your body, mind, and soul health, right? How faith plays into that, and how fear can keep you stuck in those health goals that you want, stuck in the body you're in, stuck in the, just the state you're in with respect to your health. So we're going to go on all that, and a lot of you might not even think that you have much faith right now. We're going to touch on that, on how much faith you actually have that you don't even know that you have, right? So, what is this thing of fear? Let's start with fear and just get that out of the way, because we don't want to put too much attention on fear, but we do want you to become aware of what it is, how to approach it, and how to consider it. So, we were talking this morning a little bit about where fear comes from and what that is and what that emotion is. So, when you're younger, or even ancestrally, when we think of what our ancestors were like, fear was this response inside their body that kept them safe, kept them alive. It was about survival, right? So fear was a very valuable component back then, right? And so as we, developed further, fear when we're younger still is that thing that does keep us safe. It's that emotion that does let us know that there might be a threat there. And I don't know, something like standing on the edge of a cliff or something like that, or there is an animal in the forest when you're possibly walking a trail. That response of fear is very valuable, right? That's not a time to go, do I have the faith that, well, no, this is where you got to fear and you need the response. The problem is that primitive type response, we've associated with other feelings that are similar to it, a discomfort or an uncomfortability.
And nervousness
and anxiety.
I
was just wondering, is uncomfortability
even exhilaration, uncomfortability? We can make it a word.
We're going to make it a word. It's a word. I think the best word is exhilaration. Right?
That can be mistaken, right?
Absolutely. I think that's the best word to use for when, you're in this place. You have to ask yourself, is this true fear? So what is fear? Fear is an emotion. Right? And for those that know us, we often use the explanation of emotion as energy in motion. Yeah. Right? So your emotion is the vibration that you'll feel inside your body, and you will feel it. So it's an emotion, right? The interesting thing is fear does the same thing. It's an elevating emotion. Like it gets you vibrating at a higher place. Yeah. And what did we say about creation? Right? You can create from these higher states of vibration. So if you're fearing something, you're actually creating more of that in your life. That's how the vibration and the relationship between positive and negative works, right? Is that you can create a negative thing just as you can a positive. So we said that you attract where you're vibrating. So if you're vibrating at a place of fear, you're going to attract more of that, right?
I was just going to say, I just wanted to continue on with your thought that you had about, when we're little and we have these feelings of nervousness and being scared of falling off the cliff or of heights or of being in danger, and how that kind of translates into our adult life. And we confuse little things like being nervous and feeling excited and the unknown, something that could be positive and exciting, with the same feeling of fear. And so all these little things that are meant to challenge us and cause us to grow, we are stuck and paralyzed in the fear that we've associated with the same feeling that we had when we were younger.
Well, I love it. So that brings us right into this whole idea of our comfort zone, right? Where we're at now, right? So if you think about what that comfort zone is, we talked a little bit about that today, about how it's like a bubble, right? And everything inside of that is comfortable, right? And the fear is that bubble, the surface of the bubble that holds, right, you in that comfort zone. So as you approach that edge and that fear, you can bounce back into your comfort zone, right?
How many people are living the same life that they were living 5 years ago? How many people are in the same job that they've been in for 5 years? How many people have the same clothes that they've had, have the same friends, do the same activities, eat the same food? Like it's a really cozy, comfy place to be, right? You're not living at all in fear and or some of the higher, more positive vibrations like exhilaration, like excitement, like inspiration. And so we get caught in this trap of staying comfortable and staying safe,
Yep.
which means we're not growing.
Exactly. And so when you're in your comfort zone, right, you're doing things you've always done before. Things are on repetition. You're feeling the same feelings, right? You're doing the same things, right? You're doing the things that feel safe and comfortable, right? And when it comes to your health, it's very, very similar because health is just as much a part of your life as earning money or anything else. So are you in your comfort zone in your health? Are you in your comfort health zone, right? A lot of people, when you're in your comfort zone, right? And you might have touched on this, you're probably not experiencing fear very much, right?
There's nothing new, right? There's nothing outside of that conditioned normal life that you're living to cause you to feel anything that's elevated.
Right.
So there can't be fear or uncomfortableness.
Right. But if you do feel fear and you're there, right, you're allowing that fear to keep you comfortable. So you have an idea to do something different, right? Like let's say you entertain this idea of, I don't know, starting a meditating practice or actually going to work out or possibly changing a diet. And you realize that, people are going to laugh at me thinking I'm meditating all the time, or they're going to laugh at me at the gym, or you have a fear of them. You're like, okay, I'm not going to do it. And you just bounce back right into your comfortable zone again, right? So when you do have fear and you're in your comfort zone, the fear will often make you bounce back and keep you in that comfort zone.
Yeah, and the reason you have that, I think, is an important point to touch on. It's that idea that you have about that result that you're going after is at a higher level of frequency than the one you're currently resonating at. And so it does feel chaotic, it does feel uncomfortable, but it's not a sign that you're supposed to be scared of it, that you're in danger, that something terrible is going to happen, therefore you should retreat. And that's where we get stuck in this cycle of
Comfort zone.
Wanting something really bad, and then it's a little uncomfortable and we're scared and we retreat back to comfort, and we get stuck there for a long time until eventually we stop trying.
Right. And then ultimately, right, we end up in a place back in our comfort zone, and what happens? We're right back where we started. Like you said, there's no growth there. So growth doesn't exist in that comfort zone. That's why a lot of people say you have to get uncomfortable in order to grow, right? That's why they say nothing happens without this feeling of discomfort, right? So ask yourselves, take a moment just to think about this. How many of you feel like you're just comfortable where you are? How many of you think that you're letting something get in the way of you achieving or going after your goals, right? So as Tara was pointing out, once you start and you're in your comfort zone, once you start entertaining the idea, right, that there's something else, right, you are functioning from a place of a higher frequency. So this is the vibrational change. You're now elevating yourself to a different place. Well, that idea has come from a place of where you want to be, not where you are. So that can become scary, right?
So it's right here where you have to make a decision. You have a choice to make. Or you have to either choose to stay comfortable, and that's more important to you, or you have to choose to be uncomfortable and find out what's on the other side of that feeling.
So go ahead, keep going.
Yeah.
I interrupted.
It's always going to be the result that you're after, because you wouldn't have that uncomfortableness without it. So now we know that that's a sign for us when we're feeling a little bit off, a little bit scared, a little bit nervous, that it isn't a sign to turn around the other way. It's a sign that, I really do want this, and I know that opportunity exists for me because I feel scared. I feel exhilarated. I feel excited. I feel off. I don't feel like, it's constructively discontent, as our mentor Bob always says. That's always a good sign now
But that's what we didn't know
We
before.
did not know that before.
So when we considered these bigger, greater ideas, these things that we wanted to see ourselves as, every time we decided not to go towards it or not to do it, not to do what we need to do, we bounced us back into our comfort zones, right? Mm-hmm. So often you'll go, I'm going to start a workout program, but I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm gonna start a new diet, but I'll do it after all this bad food's gone in the house. I'm going to start my meditation practice after I finish reading this book. Mm-hmm. All of these things are bouncing you back into your comfort zone.
You're choosing fear over your desire.
Yes, you're making the conscious decision, right, to choose your comfort zone over the feeling you think is fear. Right? You're making the conscious decision to choose your comfort zone over the feeling you think is fear. So think about this. It may not be fear. It might be exhilaration. It might be actually like that feeling's like, oh my God, I'm exhilarated that I'm going to start this, go after this body image, or I'm going to go after this and create this life, right? That could be exhilaration, but you see it as fear because there's so many things getting in your way. And so you bounce back. So there's a moment here where...
I want to say too, right? So yesterday and the day before we talked a little bit about manifesting on your spiritual plane, which is using your higher faculties. It's using your imagination. And anytime you're elevated and operating at a higher frequency like that is higher than where you are currently existing, it does feel like that. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So you have to understand that's why it's not true fear. That it's just a vibration that's not matched with where you are right now. So it feels uncomfortable to you.
So, and remember, because no one's going to die if you start working out. No one's going to die if you start a new diet. No one's going to die if you want to start a meditation practice. Like that's the fear is a fear of death, a fear of someone getting hurt, a fear of survival.
Yeah.
So if it's not, you have to ask the question. Like no one's
what really is it? And I think if our spirit is looking for growth and expansion and new experiences and challenge, and all of those things exist at a very high frequency, likely what you're feeling is the soul, the spiritual part, kind of like trying to get in alignment with the desire, trying to meet it at the same level of frequency. And even that feeling, not knowing what that is scary. Absolutely. Until you know that that's what's happening.
So your desire, right, for more, your desire for this more, this goal, this elevated level, this thing that you want, you desire, your desire has to be greater than your fear. Right?
So how do we then go from putting all of our time, energy, resources, mental faculties, imagination into faith? And what is faith?
Yes.
Let's touch on that, because we don't want to spend a whole lot of time in the negative things of what Absolutely. Energy are, but I think it's important to understand it may not be what you think it is.
Right. So I think first of all is just to give everyone the understanding that, you know, we're talking about overall faith. So we're not talking about faith in a religion. Yeah. We're not talking about
faith in someone or in something.
Faith in someone or something or anything like that. We're talking about overall faith, right? Faith takes your focus off of the thing you fear most and puts your focus onto the things that you want more in your life, the body you want, the confidence you want, the health you want, like I said, the soul practice you want. It puts that in your perspective. So that's what faith does. It's inherent in every person. This is a pretty cool realization.
I also just want people to write in in the box what your idea is of faith. People have all different perceptions on what that is and assumptions about what that is and what it brings up in them. And this can be something that's really important to uncover about yourself, your belief about it, and maybe you have a limiting perspective that's holding you back from fully tapping into this spiritual plane of creation.
Yeah, so just comment in there what you think faith is, because we're going to give you a few little examples of places in your life that you have faith and you don't even know you do. Right? And so when it comes to faith, you have an unlimited, infinite supply of it. For example, right? And it's such a good one because everyone does it. It's brushing your teeth. So when we brush our teeth, we have the faith that brushing our teeth, keeping them clean, will limit the cavities and the decay that happens in there. We do it every single morning and evening, at least we should, most should, with pure faith that it's working towards helping our teeth.
We have faith that every morning the sun is going to rise and the sun is going to set, and that some days it might rain and some days it'll be sunny, some days it might snow. We just wake up and there's always going to be a 24-hour day.
You have faith that gravity is going to hold you to the earth and you're not going to float away. You got faith when you go to work in the morning that you're going to be able to experience similar stuff that you experienced the following day.
Yep. Or that when
the paycheck's coming at the end of the month.
Yep. When you start if you do commit to a workout program, that doing these exercises and eating healthy is going to give you the body that you want without ever thinking how it happens metabolically,
Yep.
or a cellular level.
Yep.
You just trust and have faith that that's going to happen for you.
And so if you have faith in getting married, that you're going to commit yourself to this person, that you love this person unconditionally, you have faith in
that you know how you're going to parent, that
that you're going to
that when your kids come, you're just going to know exactly what to do. You just have faith. You have faith that the baby's going to develop perfectly normal. Like, it's a complicated development process in there, but you just have faith that the baby's going to, that the process is going to do exactly what it needs to do, and now it's going to come a perfect baby.
So it's inherent in you already. So we're just going to help you build it and focus it in the right place. Faith is above and beyond belief, in a sense that a belief can be false, it can be learned and conditioned into you, whereas faith is an absolute truth, like gravity, right? We have faith in gravity.
It's a feeling of trust and confidence that for certain this will happen.
Yes. Actually, there's a good book out there, and we'll have to get the title of it, but it's defined as the trust, confidence, and assurance by which to penetrate the invisible. And remember, by invisible, we're talking about the energy, right? We're talking about the energy around us. So we're using that now. So faith is the trust, confidence, and assurance in that energy to give whatever it is you desire.
So we've talked already about creating the vision of your goal, of your life in your mind. And then we've talked about how you have to have a positive attitude towards your goal. It's here where the faith in that image, in that life, is so important, because it's that faith that's the magnet that attracts all the opportunities, all the prayers, all the circumstances to you. Without that knowing that this is going to happen, the opportunity circumstance does not manifest. You can't outperform your level of belief in your goal.
Yeah,
you can't fake it.
No.
So understanding how this spiritual component works is the secret to how our whole consciously created transformation program works. This is what makes it different. We are showing you a way to create in your mind first, how to have the faith in that image by using your imagination to attract the opportunity to you. So results are immediate. They are, you do see them quicker. They are more permanent. They are on all planes, on your spiritual plane, your physical plane, your emotional plane, your thinking.
Yeah. So when it comes to faith, right? Many things you believe in, you can't see. You have faith and you've never seen them. Right? That's the beauty of faith and fear. Faith and fear ask you to believe in something that you cannot see. Both of them ask you to do that. It's just whether you choose the fear that you're going to fail or the fear of a bad outcome versus the faith that you're going to succeed. Both.
It happens both ways,
Both
right?
ways.
Right. So you can manifest the bad,
Right.
if you have a strong emotion and belief in the bad and an image associated with that. You can stay stuck in your current level of fitness, in your unhealthy body, in your disease, in your chaotic mind, if you believe that that's your destiny. So it goes both ways. That's why we're saying, don't focus your attention on what you don't want. Don't be thinking what you don't want. Put your faith and your belief and your energy and your imagination in what you do want.
So you're exactly touching on this transition from believing and having faith in things and stuff that you don't even know that you have faith in, and just recognizing that you're now going to take that same faith you have for the toothpaste and for gravity, and you're going to apply that to yourself. You're going to have the faith of what you can achieve and what you can accomplish. Right? So if you have it for other things, why not have it for the faith of what you want?
I think that's where people get hung up, is that we think it's from us. We think we create it. We're missing that this is a natural law of the universe. This is just how it works. It's not your responsibility to see it come to fruition. Your only responsibility is to understand that you have to really want it. You have to be able to see the image of what you want in your mind clearly. You have to have a positive attitude about it, and you have to have the faith in that wish already being fulfilled, that it's already an opportunity for you. Yeah, the rest you don't have to worry about. Yeah. And you don't get to control it. And you don't get to decide whether it works or it doesn't. It just does. It already does work.
Yeah. So this whole point of faith, how it applies to you, is that's what we're trying to do here, is say, take all of that faith that you have, right, that you use for other things, and apply that to yourself and to your own success. And the funny thing is that when you start having faith in you and you start changing, it's more good in this world. You help others. You start to do things that you never imagined you could do, and you start providing. You start moving more in line with who you are and your purpose, and that's because faith is that high vibrating frequency.
Yeah, I love the way Bob says that success is faith expressed in action. Right? So in order to be successful at whatever your goal is, you have to have the faith in that result already being your reality. And all successful people feel that way. Right. Garrett uses an example of when he graduated school, and he was going to start a clinic. And he went to the bank for a loan and just said, I'm here to get a loan. I'm a chiropractor. And they said, well, we need your business plan, and we need this and we need that. And he said, well, I know I'm going to be successful. Just give me the money. It didn't even dawn on you that you weren't going to be a success. The same with it when you graduate from university, and it doesn't occur to you that you're not going to have a job. You're already successful. You're already going to do it. Your weight loss goal, your health goal, whatever transformation that you want to achieve here, it's the same thing.
It's absolutely no different. That's so obvious. And when you brought up that example, it just got me to thinking, you're standing on the side of the road and you want to go to the other side. Think how much faith you have in just walking across the street to the other. You don't have to create a goal, put it in your imagination, consciously. You don't have to consciously do that. It automatically happens. Well, this is how automatic that this can become, right? Is having the faith in producing anything in your life that way. So you touched on my point of success reduced to its lowest and simplest terms is faith expressed in action. Yeah. That's the quote from Bob that Bob often uses, right? Faith is a magnetic power that attracts the answers to all your prayers. I love that one too, because when you think of faith, you often think of praying and things like that. And this faith is that magnetic power that allows your prayers to be answered. So when you ask for something, you will receive it.
Joe says it a nice way too. He says that your thought or your goal, the image that you have in the mind, is the signal that sends the waves out into the cosmos saying, hey, I want this. But it's your feeling, it's your faith, it's your spiritual component that draws that opportunity to you and you to it at the same time. That's why the results are so fast.
That's the magnetic component. Beautiful, right? The thought's the electrical, the feeling's the magnetic, and the faith is the feeling opposite to the fear feeling.
And you feel it in your heart, right? Like you have that faith is a heart, it's a love, it's a spiritual thing, it's in here. Everybody knows that feeling of having that faith in something.
Dr. Ray said it good. He just put a comment there in the, whatever happens will be good for me, whether I can see it now or not. Mm-hmm. Faith that I know, or faith that how things unfold are not good or bad, but just happen. Mm-hmm. It's our choice to see the good or not so good in it for us, or not so good in it for us, our community, humanity in general. Exactly. It's exactly your perspective of whether you make that positive or negative, fear or faith, right?
I think this is such an important part of this process that if any of you have not yet figured out your goal, we're going to be messaging all of you privately, because part of this training, you do get a call with us. You get a 15-minute free call with us to establish your goal, help you with creating that so that you're really clear on that. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to teach you a little bit more about your attitude towards that goal. And then today, anything that might be preventing you from moving towards that goal. So if you're not super clear on your goal yet, just comment that you want to get on a call by commenting me in the box, and we'll put you at the top of the list to connect with. It's really important that you know where you're going. For any of these days to be relevant, you have to have that part figured out.
Yeah. Right, okay. Because as we said, success is reduced to its lowest and simplest terms is faith expressed in action. So you need to move toward your body towards your goal with complete faith of its absolute realization. And as Tara said, having that goal is what you need in order to move your body towards something.
Yeah, and you have to.
So you have to set it.
Yeah, you
have to set it. It has to be big, and it has to be in something you're in love with.
And it has to be such a firm belief in the faith that it's going to happen that nobody can deter you from accomplishing that goal. You just know that it's going to happen. Has to be that much conviction. Because
the faith is what overpowers all objections, contradictions, all obstacles to what you have to have the faith. It's like when anyone tells me now that I can't do something, it doesn't even register. It doesn't even make its way into any place. It's like, yeah, go ahead. You can think I'm not going to do it. It almost fuels it. And I think it does for a lot of people, is they use that as fuel, right? Because having pure faith just blocks any type of contradiction or any, like, think about, again, I go to crossing the street. When you have pure faith that you're going to make it across the street, everything falls to the wayside. Like everything falls to the wayside. Everything comes into fruition for you to cross the street, including the cars slowing down, the opening up of anything. And what you don't even realize is you're doing that. You're creating that in your life. And so it's interesting because we talked about the three planes of where we function from, and that is the physical plane being in your environment in which your five senses are tuned into. There is the intellectual plane, that's your thoughts, your reasoning and all that. And then there's the last one, that's that spiritual plane. And the faith is the power, is the bridge to that spiritual plane, right? And if you're really connected to, the physical plane where you're letting your results determine everything, right? You have to have faith, right? That you'll connect it.
Yeah, I think if you're not seeing results in a particular area of your life, in a physical part of your life, you need to look at your spiritual connection to that component. And most likely there is not a strong faith in that component. And so an immediate way to strengthen that area is to develop your faith regarding that aspect. So develop your belief Develop your conviction and your knowingness that that too is going to happen in that area of your life. We're all really good at having faith in certain areas of our life. And it's mind-boggling to us and to, people in our community. Well, why can't I carry that through with every area of my life? You can. It's just we have paradigms that keep us stuck. And so the indicator is always in the results. If there's an area in your physical life where you're not seeing the results you want, it is because you haven't bridged the gap with the faith into the spiritual component of that desire.
That's very well articulated. You should go back and listen to that little bit right there, because that's it in a nutshell, right? It's oh my gosh, that's exactly what it is. And if you can just listen to that as Tara articulated it, right, is that the faith connects you from your physical. If you're really physically and stuck to your senses, your environment, right, the only way you're going to be able to get to the next phase or to get the change is to have the faith, right, that is possible for you, which then connects you to the spiritual plane in which you can't see anything, and all it is energy, and it's where possibilities exist, and everything that you need to realize your goal on the physical lives in the spiritual. Yeah, so the faith has to connect the two.
Yeah,
right?
So great. I think that we can get caught up in saying, I want to be more fit. I want to be more healthy. I wish I could eat better. Yeah. If I had a different body type than this or that, or when this happens. Though a wish is a very diluted way to try to achieve a goal. So again, if your results are not where you want, but you're saying, yeah, but I'm saying I want this. I'm doing my affirmations. I wish I could have that. I might have that. It's not powerful enough. There's not a high enough frequency. It's not clear. It's not a committed decision. It's not fueled by a knowing. Okay, so it's not enough. You have to be all in, both feet in. Nobody's going to talk you out of it. Fully convinced.
That's faith.
And you're the only one who can do that. I hear people say, I'm so glad we have you guys because you can hold me accountable. We're here to support you and to share our knowledge, but you're the only one who can get on the treadmill.
We can hold you accountable, just like you said, but we can't make
We can't do the work for you, but we can be here for you to check in as an accountability partner, but we are not responsible for you doing the work. We all are responsible for our own selves, for our own results, and I think that's where the biggest growth is in the accountability, the responsibility, the acknowledgement that it's fully up to you. And I think we can get so lost in that, and that can feel so big, and we can think about it from a matter-of-fact way, and that it's another task, and that's exhausting and overwhelming. But we're saying something different. We're saying that if you get into the spirit of what you want, and you build, and the work is in building the faith and the belief, that's a lot easier and a lot faster. It requires a lot less work. And that's the trick. That's the key to all of this.
And that's the opening of the door. Remember the fly we talked about? That's what Tara's talking about. We're opening another door where you can see it as being easier. Right? It's easier to fly through the open door than it is to try and smash through the window.
So how should people work on building faith if faith is something you're struggling with and it's not your strong suit, or you're new to this language about a spiritual plane? What are some of the things that we're recommending for them?
Well, I think one of the biggest or first steps is to read about it, right? I know that Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill has a chapter on faith that is amazing. I think it was Robert Russell wrote one about faith. Is there anything else that you...
As far as books go?
Yeah.
Well, we have in our program, our Thinking to Results program, but I think reading anything on fear, but I love the idea also of what we had you guys do in the first lesson, which was to really take that seriously and think about and write it down. What do you really want? What do you really want to be, to do, to have? And use your higher faculty, use your imagination, which is on the spiritual plane. You're already doing it anyway when you're creating in your imagination. Get really good at writing that down every day and revisiting that image in your mind, reading it several times a day, but with the feeling attached to it. I think that's the fastest, most direct way to get the results that are specific to you. You want to build your faith fast, it all starts in the imagination because it's on the same frequency.
And it shifts your focus from where you are currently in your world,
Yeah.
right, to creation in your imagination. You need to see more, right, of what you want to become, what you want in your life, right? So we can actually use our imagination to build faith.
Every time you use your imagination, you're building faith.
Yeah.
And so repetition is something that we teach our coaching clients, and Bob is super big on. And that's the reason for it, is the more you repeat it and repeat it and repeat it, the more faith that you have, the more knowing that you become it. You actually become it in your mind before it manifests in reality, which is how it has to happen anyway.
So there you have it, the difference between faith and fear. One leads you towards your goals, and the other keeps you stuck. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Well, yeah, just if they're ready to really explore how this whole idea of faith works for making that quantum leap, type faith in the comments. We want you guys to get in the spirit of this. Who's ready for a different approach? Who wants to learn more about this way? And we'll connect with you.
And we'll definitely connect with you. This is
And it's a choice, right?
It really is.
You have a choice to make now. You can decide, I'm going to take that leap of faith. I'm going to learn more about this. I'm going to embark on this journey, and I'm going to take part in the exercise of writing out my life and getting emotionally involved in it. Or you can decide just to stay where you are again. But it is ultimately your choice. And I hope that we've taught you enough about how that feels in your body to recognize, as these days go by, you may be feeling more elevated levels of uncertainty because you're changing. And that's a good thing. So if you're ready to take that leap of faith into transforming your life more, let us know.
And you most likely are feeling something different when you hear this, right? And that is what we're talking about today. Is it fear or is it excitement? Is it inquiry? Is it like, ooh, that'd be exciting to be able to create my life of my dreams, my health of my dreams, get the body I want. This is about, health with respect to your body, mind, and your soul. So, how does this apply to that? I hope it's becoming a little bit obvious, right? That this, if you want permanent changes in your life, and in this case, permanent changes in your health, this information should be profoundly exciting for you, going, wow, you know what? I've never heard it that way. I've never even thought of it that way. But I'm starting to believe that anything is possible for me. And that's exciting. It's almost scary because now you have to take accountability and responsibility for where you are in your current results. And then you have to recognize it's absolutely 100% your choice.
Yeah, and these are life-changing skills to learn.
Absolutely.
We're not taught this in school. We're not taught this by our parents. We're taught, in fact, the opposite. We're taught more go matter to matter, try harder, be like that fly in the window that gets stuck and eventually dies because it didn't open up its mind to another possibility. We're offering you another way to think about these things, right? This is what changed our life so much.
Yeah.
Was learning that we didn't want to do it the way that we had previously done it. We didn't want to be in a mediocre life with mediocre results. We wanted an extraordinary, amazing life in every area of our life. And I know that because you're still here, Stay 3, and many of you are in our group now for a while, we know you want that too. You wouldn't even be joining us today. It wouldn't even have been an opportunity for you right? It wouldn't have been on the radar if you weren't interested in this too. So
listen to that inner voice speaking to you. Listen to the actions that you're taking and recognize that it's time. It's your choice. Tomorrow we will talk about the one skill that will help you reach anything, and that's decision. It's a skill that we don't often learn.
we're also
Right?
announcing our offer tomorrow.
Oh, yes.
And
Yes.
so that'll be available for 24 hours after our live.
Yep.
So until Friday
Yep.
at 12, Friday at noon, it'll be available. So
Absolutely.
if you're not able to catch us live tomorrow, make sure you watch the replay in the evening so you can take advantage of that offer. It's the first time we've had this offer, and it's super exciting, incredible one.
Yeah, lastly, the faith for me was a real eye-opener, an aha moment, because you realize that you're using these concepts all the time to create your results, whether they're positive or negative. So you can have faith in a negative as much as you can a positive, right? And so it really changed my life because it helped me see that all I had to do was realign my faith with that which I desired, not with that which I had at that moment.
And you know what? It frees up so much energy. And you know, the people who are here that know us well hear me talk about this, right? I've had the propensity in the past to get overwhelmed by having a lot to do. And when you clear out the negative and you just focus on the positive and really simplify that and just look at what's important to you, there's so much more time in the day. There's so much more energy. There's so much more love and peace and clarity to create.
Absolutely.
And this is why I think I love the mind, body, soul connection. That's what I'm drawn to. That for me, this isn't just about the body. We're using a lot of examples about that. But I love how getting to know yourself and learning these life-changing skills affects your mind and your soul too. The body has to follow anyway. So that for me is kind of the given. Mm-hmm. But the missing component to the weight release and to the fitness goals is the mind and soul connection.
Fantastic. I think at that, we'll leave it at that. We're pushing 50 minutes. So
It's because you talk so much.
I love how you always throw those little jabs in. I know I'm Regis now. At least you got Kathy Lee. You're stuck with Regis.
You can't be Regis.
Okay, everyone. Thank you for joining us. For those that did join us.
Thanks for commenting, you guys.
Thank you for commenting.
And comment also if you're watching the replay. That helps to get you into the spirit of things. It puts some energy into the group.
And
we
we
want
see
you to
it.
feel a part of it, and we do comment and see it and read it, and we'll respond to you.
Okay, guys, you have an amazing rest of your day. Looks like the sun's coming out
Gorgeous here.
Get moving, get the body moving, get the energy up. Movement will increase your frequency and energy. Mm-hmm. This is all about health. So get off your butts and get moving. Just make it, do it. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Be awesome.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.